Our goal is an Iraq that no longer needs American troops. And I believe we can achieve that goal perhaps sooner than many imagine. But I do not believe that anyone should make promises as a candidate for president that they cannot keep if elected. To promise a withdrawal of our forces from Iraq, regardless of the calamitous consequences to the Iraqi people, our most vital interests, and the future of the Middle East, is a height of irresponsibility. It is a failure of leadership. I know the pain war causes. I understand the frustration caused by our mistakes in this war. And I regret sincerely the additional sacrifices imposed on the brave Americans who defend us. But I also know the toll of a lost war takes on an army and on our country's security. By giving General Petraeus and the men and women he has the honor to command the time and support necessary to succeed in Iraq, we have before us a hard road. But it is the right road, and it is necessary and just. Those who disregard the unmistakable progress we've made in the last year and the terrible consequences that would ensue were we to abandon our responsibilities in Iraq have chosen another road. It may appear to be the easier course of action, but it is a much more reckless one, and it does them no credit, even if it gives them an advantage in the next election. We will respect the sacrifices made by our soldiers. We all mourn the losses they have suffered in this war. But let us honor them by doing all we can to ensure their sacrifices were not made in vain. Let us show an appropriate humility by recognizing that so little is asked of us compared to the burdens we imposed on them. And let us show just a small but significant measure of their courage, resolve, and patriotism by putting our country's interests before every personal or political consideration. War is a terrible thing. You know that better than most. You who have borne the heartache and deprivations of war so that our country might be secure in its freedom. I hold my position on Iraq not because I am indifferent to the suffering caused by this war, but because I detest war and believe sincerely that should we fail in Iraq, we will face an even sterner test in the very near future, an even harder war, with even greater sacrifice and heartbreaking loss than we have suffered over the last 5 years. It is every veteran's hope that should their children be called upon to answer a call to arms, the battle will be necessary and the field well chosen. But that's not their responsibility. It belongs to the government that called them. As it once was for you, their honor will be in their answer, not their summons. Whatever we think about how and why we went to war in Iraq, we are all, those who supported the decision that placed them in harm's way and those who opposed it, humbled by and grateful for their example. We know how little has been asked of others compared to their service and the terrible sacrifice made by those who have not returned to the country they loved so well. They now deserve the distinction of the best Americans, and we owe them a debt we can never, ever fully repay. We can only offer the small tribute of our humility and our commitment to do all that we can do in less trying and costly circumstances to help keep this nation worthy of their sacrifice. The sacrifices made by veterans deserve to be memorialized in something more lasting than marble or bronze or in the fleeting effect of a politician's speeches. Your valor and devotion to duty have earned your country's abiding concern for your welfare. And when our government forgets to honor our debts to you, it is a stain upon America's honor. The Walter Reed scandal recalled, I hope, not just government, but the public who elected it to our responsibilities to the men and women who risked life and limb to meet their responsibilities to us. Such a disgrace is unworthy of the greatest nation on earth. As the greatest leaders in our history, George Washington and Abraham Lincoln instructed us, care for Americans who fought to defend us should rank among the highest of national priorities. Those who have borne the burden of war for our sake must be treated fairly and expeditiously as they seek compensation for disability or illness. We owe them compassion, knowledge, and hands-on care in their transition to civilian life. We owe them training, rehabilitation, and as President, I will do everything in my power to ensure that those who serve today and those who have served in the past have access to the highest quality health, mental health, and rehabilitative care in the world. The disgrace of Walter Reed must not be forgotten. Neither should we accept a situation in which veterans are denied access to care due to great travel distances, backlogs of appointments, and years of pending disability evaluation and claims. I believe that we should give veterans the option to use a simple plastic card to receive timely and accessible care at a convenient location through a provider of their choosing. I will not stand for requiring veterans to make an appointment, to stand in line, to make an appointment, to stand in line for substandard care of the injuries you have suffered to keep our country safe. Whatever our commitments to veterans cost, we will keep them, as you have kept every commitment to us. The honor of a great nation is at stake. As we meet in Iraq and Afghanistan, American soldiers, Marines, sailors, and airmen are fighting bravely and tenaciously in battles that are as dangerous, difficult, and consequential as the great battles of our armed forces' storied past. Many of them have had their tours extended longer than they were initially told. Others who had already served 2 or 3 tours returned to combat sooner than they had been led to expect. It's a sad and hard thing to ask so much more of Americans who have already given more than their fair share to the defense of our country. Few of them and their families would have greeted the news without feeling greatly disappointed and without offering a few well-deserved complaints in the direction of those of us who have imposed on them this additional hardship. Then they shouldered a weapon and risked everything to accomplish their mission, to protect another people's freedom and our own country from harm. It's a privilege beyond measure to live in a country served so well by such selfless patriots. God bless and protect them. Thank you.